I'm Teisha with Shalom TV's news update for Thursday, March the 6th, 2014. A rocket was fired towards southern Israel late last night, triggering a code red alert in the area of Sderot. IDF forces were searching for remnants of the projectile today. Earlier last night, a separate siren was sounded in the Sha'ar HaNegev Regional Council after another rocket attempt at Israel, this one reportedly landing within Palestinian territory. There were no injuries or damage reported in either incident. Iran has denied any involvement in a shipment of rockets seized yesterday by the Israeli Navy. The Navy intercepted the Iranian ship yesterday in the middle of the Red Sea, smuggling missiles loaded by Iran to ultimately make their way to Gaza. Iran's Deputy Foreign Minister for Arab and African Affairs, Amir Abdullahian, said today that the, quote, allegations from Israel were untrue. He said the allegation is merely based on repetitious and baseless fabrications of the Zionist media. Iranian Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif also denied Iran's involvement, alleging that it was all a lie to coincide with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's address to the American Israel Public Affairs Committee Policy Conference, where Netanyahu slammed Iran for being on the wrong side of the moral divide over their backing of the violence in Syria and funding of terror across the globe. Zarif took to his Twitter account where he tweeted, "An Iranian ship carrying arms for Gaza, captured just in time for annual AIPAC anti-Iran campaign, amazing coincidence or same failed lies." The U.S. State Department yesterday confirmed the seizure of the Iranian ship. Spokeswoman Jen Psaki said that the Israeli government interdicted a shipment of illicit Iranian arms. She said the White House directed the Department of Defense to monitor the vessel and that the U.S. was prepared to take, quote, unilateral steps to stop the shipment, but that Israel volunteered to handle the ship itself. Psaki added that the transfer of arms would amount to a violation of UN Security Council resolutions. And the Times of Israel reported today that specifically Iran's Revolutionary Guard's elite Al-Quds force was behind the smuggling attempt, reporting that the head of Israeli military intelligence Major General Aviv Kochavi told a press conference today that Iran's Revolutionary Guard was looking into how information about the shipment was leaked to Israeli intelligence. Kochavi said, according to our assessments, they will stop attempts to smuggle arms in the southern axis for a few months. He said exposing the ship spurred investigation in the Revolutionary Guards on the leaks that led to the failed attempt to transfer the weapons. Kochavi said there is clear and unequivocal information that this shipment came from Iran and that the total contents of what was being smuggled on board will become clear when the ship reaches and docks in Eilat in the next few days. The IDF has raised its terror alert on the border with Syria. The alert for troops stationed near the border in the Golan Heights was raised to its highest level last night after an incident yesterday that we reported to you about when IDF tanks fired on Hezbollah terrorists who were trying to plant an explosive device along the border. The IDF said 2 terrorists were hit in that strike. Contrary to the IDF report, Syrian media claims that there were more injuries, including civilians, and Israel has raised the security alert in the area in preparation for possible retaliation from the Syrian side. U.S. President Barack Obama has asked National Security Advisor Susan Rice to travel to Israel. The Security Council spokesperson released a statement yesterday saying that, quote, coming out of the very productive consultations between Prime Minister Netanyahu and President Obama during their bilateral meeting this week, the president has asked Rice to lead the U.S. delegation to the U.S.-Israel Consultative Group in Israel in May. Further saying that Ambassador Rice looks forward to her first visit to Israel as National Security Advisor to continue our strategic consultations on a wide range of bilateral and regional issues. Convicted Israeli spy Jonathan Pollard was reportedly rushed to the hospital last night after a decline in his health. Pollard, who is serving a life sentence for spying for Israel, has been in prison for nearly 30 years, where he has been suffering from a variety of ailments. The Committee to Free Pollard said that Pollard was hospitalized in a facility near the North Carolina federal prison where he is being held. Effie Lahav, who heads the committee, told Israel's Channel 2 News that Pollard's condition was not good. He said last night Pollard was hospitalized and underwent surgery. Lahav said he suffers from a long line of problems, mainly related to the skin and kidneys. He said, "We are very concerned about his situation." For the first time, Israel is officially weighing in on the situation in Ukraine. The Foreign Ministry in Israel released a statement yesterday calling for a peaceful resolution to the crisis there. It said Israel is following with great concern the events in Ukraine. It is anxious for peace for all its citizens and hope that the situation will not deteriorate to a loss of human life. Israel expects the crisis in Ukraine will be handled through diplomatic means and will be resolved peacefully. The U.S. House of Representatives yesterday passed a bill to strengthen the strategic alliance between the U.S. and Israel. The United States-Israel Strategic Partnership Act passed by a vote of 410 to 1. The bipartisan bill was co-sponsored by U.S. Representatives Ileana Ros-Lehtinen of Florida, Ted Deutsch of Florida, Ed Royce of California, and Elliot Engel of New York. It designates Israel as a major strategic partner and calls for giving Israel advanced combat aircraft and military tanker transports and priority in receiving American weapon surpluses. It also includes assistance for the Iron Dome missile defense system and the promotion of cooperation in the areas of energy, water, science, homeland security, and agriculture. Ros-Lehtinen said with the continued chaos and uncertainty throughout the Middle East, the movement by some to try to delegitimize and stigmatize Israel, and the alarming rise of anti-Semitism throughout the world, the people of Israel need to know that they can still count on the United States' friendship and support in their time of need. The bill passed a day after the conclusion of the AIPAC annual policy conference. The pro-Israel lobby said that the bill would dramatically strengthen the relationship between the two allies as they work to confront new threats and challenges in the Middle East. As reported to you yesterday, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu held several meetings in Silicon Valley with high-tech leaders in an effort to promote investments in the Israeli technology industry. Among his meetings on the West Coast, the Prime Minister met with Apple CEO Tim Cook. Netanyahu invited Cook to visit Israel and suggested that Apple join in the National Cyber Park in Beersheba. Netanyahu also met with the founders of WhatsApp, which was recently acquired by Google. Those co-founders, Jan Koum and Brian Acton, where they spoke about cooperation regarding cybersecurity with Israel.
What's up?
A tribute to the late Edgar Bronfman was held at the Israel Museum in Jerusalem tonight. Over 300 invited guests gathered to pay tribute to the Jewish leader and philanthropist who passed away in December at the age of 84. The event was organized by several Bronfman-supported organizations, Limud FSU, Hillel Israel, and the Bronfman Youth Fellowships. Limud FSU founder Chaim Chesler praised Bronfman for his many achievements, including his immeasurable help in opening the gates for Soviet Jewry, as well as his championing other causes like restitution for Holocaust survivors and reviving the Hillel organization on university campuses.
Made a campaign to get them out.
And turning to our Shalom TV programming for tonight, Thursday, March the 6th, at 7:30, we are re-airing the memorial tribute for the late Israeli Prime Minister Ariel Sharon that was held recently at the Fifth Avenue Synagogue in New York City. And at 9 o'clock, the new Voices of Israel program features a tour of Karnei Shomron in the West Bank. And then at 10 o'clock, Director of Research of the Washington Institute of Near East Policy, Patrick Clausen, talks about Israel and the U.S. in relation to Iran. That's tonight here on Shalom TV and ShalomTV.com. And that's Shalom TV's news update for Thursday, March the 6th, 2014. I'm Teisha Bader.